With credit cards being such a common item in our lives and wallets, do you ever sit back and wonder how much money do credit card companies make? Or how many people actually carry a balance on their credit cards? Well, I for one definitely had a lot of questions before I did the research into this video, and I found out some pretty eye-opening facts about the credit card industry. So sit back and enjoy this video, and hopefully I can provide you with some interesting information that you may not have known before. Okay, so let's jump into it. Now, let's start with a pretty important part of how you actually get approved for a credit card, mortgage, or auto loan, which is your credit score. And this will be used to determine what your creditworthiness is and if you are suitable to receive either a loan, mortgage, or credit card. So according to Experian, over the past 10 years, the average credit score in the United States has actually increased from a low of 689 in 2011 up to 714 by September of 2021. Then if you look at where that sits on the FICO score, it is considered to be a good score. So the lowest average credit score was in Mississippi with an average score of 681, and the highest average credit score was in Minnesota with an average of 742. Now, the reason it is so important to have a good credit score is that it can save you quite a lot of money. Generally speaking, the higher your credit score is, the more likely it is that you will be able to secure a lower interest rate if you need to borrow money for a car or home loan. And banks and lenders will be more likely to consider you as a client if you have a higher credit score, as it is less likely that you will default on your payments. And if you want to learn more about how you can increase your credit score quickly, check out this video here where I take you through the process of how to increase your credit score in 30 days. Now, of all the different types of credit card companies that offer credit cards, Visa is clearly the most popular and has the largest market share of the 4 major credit card networks in the US. By the end of September 2020, there was approximately 343 million Visa credit cards in use in the US. And in the same period, Visa reported that their credit payments volume was $1.97 trillion. MasterCard comes in second with approximately 249 million MasterCards in use in the US, and a credit payments volume of approximately $837 billion. And this gives Visa and MasterCard a large portion of the credit card market in the US, with over 75% of total spending purchases made with their cards. American Express is next with approximately 53.8 million Amex cards in use in the US at the end of 2020. They also had a purchase volume of $693 billion. And for interest's sake, the average spend on an Amex card in the US in 2020 was $18,090. Finally, Discover had approximately 59.8 million cards in circulation and a purchase volume of $148 billion in 2020. Now, another interesting fact about credit cards is just how many the average American has. And according to Experian, Americans held an average of 3.84 credit cards, with New Jersey taking the top spot with an average of 4.54 credit card accounts, and Alaska at the bottom with 3.06 credit card accounts. Then, in terms of which age groups held credit cards, 18 to 23-year-olds had the least amount of accounts with an average of just 0.91 credit cards, whereas 56 to 74-year-olds held the most credit cards with an average of 4.61 credit cards. Now, according to a survey by the Federal Reserve, 83% of adults in the US had a credit card in 2020, with half of these people actually carrying a balance over from month to month. Then, when it comes to income, more than 98% of people with an income of more than $100,000 had a credit card. And then at the lower income level of $25,000, just 56% of people had a credit card. And interestingly enough, having more than one credit card can quite often be an advantage. First of all, you will have more available credit, and it will be easier to keep your credit utilization lower, preferably under 30%. Which will help to increase your credit score. Now, let's take a look at how much credit card debt the average American has. And for the first quarter of 2022, Americans had a total credit card debt of $841 billion, which is a lot of money. In comparison, back in 1999, credit card debt in the US was $478 billion, almost half as much as it is today. And according to LendingTree.com, New Jersey has the most credit card debt in America with an average of $7,872 of debt. And I guess this makes some sense, as New Jersey also has the most credit cards per person on average in the US. Then the state with the least amount of debt is Kentucky, with an average of $5,441 of debt. Now, according to Experian, men tend to carry more debt than women, with an average of $125 more. And women tend to open more credit card accounts than men, with an average of 4.5 credit cards compared to men with an average of 3.6 credit cards. So one question that I quite often ask myself is, how much money do these credit card companies actually make? Well, in 2020, credit card companies made approximately $176 billion. And surprisingly enough, interest income was the biggest earner for most companies. And basically, interest income is earned by the lenders when their customers carry over a balance and then pay interest that is due. So in 2020, of the $176 billion of income reported by credit card companies, $76 billion of that was directly from interest. Now, there are also quite a lot of other ways that credit card companies can make money from their customers. One of the more obvious ways is the annual fee that they charge for their exclusive credit cards. And whilst some high-fee credit cards offer some fantastic benefits and user perks, it's always worth considering if those benefits will be of value to you. Now, the second largest earner for lenders is interchange income. And this is the fee that a merchant is charged when a transaction takes place through their business. And these fees can vary quite a bit. For Visa and MasterCard, it can start as low as 1.15% and go up to 2.4%. Whereas with American Express, it can start around 1.43% and go up to 3.3%. Which is quite a lot more when you think about it. And in 2020, the credit card industry reported an income of $51 billion just from interchange income. Some other ways they make money include penalty fees, cash advance fees, balance transfer fees, and interest income. Now finally, let's take a look at some of the credit card fraud statistics, which are pretty alarming. So according to a research paper by Atlas VPN, credit card fraud increased from 17,236 reports in early 2015 to a staggering 45,120 reports in early 2020. And according to a recent Nielsen report, the United States has the highest number of cases of credit card fraud in the world, with California and Georgia having the most cases in the country. And all up, this cost Americans approximately $9.47 billion in illegal transactions just in 2018, with the most common form of credit card fraud originating from online shopping, which is also referred to as card not present or CNP transaction. And a large majority of people who reported losing money were aged between 20 and 29. So it's always important to check any charges that are made to your credit card, as fraudulent charges clearly happen on a regular basis. The best thing to do is to call your credit card issuer as soon as possible and dispute any fraudulent charges that may show up on your account. Also, according to Experian, it is relatively easy for thieves to steal your credit card data from the dark web. And the scary thing is that it's not even expensive for them to get a hold of your information. As you can see here in this chart, thieves can purchase information to a credit card, including the CVV number, for as little as $5. A good way to combat this and to have peace of mind is to enroll in an identity theft monitoring service like LifeLock by Norton or Identity Works by Experian. Both of these services can monitor and alert you of any potential credit card or identity theft. And at least with Experian, you can get a 30-day free trial to see if it's right for you. Link in the description below. So all in all, there are some pretty interesting statistics about credit cards. There is a lot more credit card fraud than I initially thought there was, which is a little worrying. Also, the amount of credit card consumers that actually carry a balance over each month is quite surprising and results in an unbelievable amount of profit for the credit card companies. Now, if you'd like to learn more about common credit card mistakes, why not check out this video here where I talk about 9 credit card mistakes that you should avoid at all costs.